we are back talking about New Year's resolutions and why they don't work. And now we figured out we have the intention to make a change. That was stage 2, and we move on to stage 3, which I believe is the preparation stage.
Yes,
correct?
this is a preparation for action, and people begin to make small changes. So they get themselves into the gym, but then they have the risks that are involved in being in the gym. So for example, if you're a woman and you're overweight and the gym is full of mirrors, so you get yourself into the gym and you see your reflection in the mirror and you think, oh God, this is not how I want to look, and you get discouraged, you're much more likely to not go back. Because there's a negative reinforcement there. You don't like the way you look in the mirror. So you need to have some insight. You need to be aware that that's going to be there, and you need to be filtering that in and integrating it into your plan.
So that's how you overcome that.
Yes, you need insight. You need to be able to be aware of your own processes.
What about including like a buddy system? If you're making a change like this, and it's quite a big change, like you said, if you had maybe friends to go with, does that help?
That's excellent, yeah, to get peer support, to call a person when you're thinking, oh, I don't want to go out today. And you need someone who's going to be your fan, like your fan club. Oh no, it's going to be okay, just do it and you'll feel better after.
So would that be included in your preparation stage, sort of enlisting all of this help and
social
support?
support would be there throughout, but particularly at the preparation stage. Actually the highest risk stage, surprisingly, is when you've actually started the action stage. When you're in the behavior, you're actively engaged in the new behavior, you see observable changes within 6 months. People are starting to notice that you've changed. But this stage has the highest risk of relapse because it's the least stable change. People are we see people going to the gym in the first January and February, people have the highest enrollment to gyms, right? And why is it by March, April, May, the gyms are empty?
Very true, though. Yeah, that's true.
They're just not
But
there.
what makes them stop? I mean,
really thought about
you've planned everything, you've
yeah.
prepared,
Because
you're
it's not
there.
consolidated as a habit yet.
Okay.
You know, you have to have at
Okay.
least a year of solid participation until it becomes a habit. You don't think about it anymore. The intention, the thought is not there. It's just something I do. And that needs a year of repetition. Habits are not easily changed.
Is it also because a lot of times when we make resolutions like that, we make the resolution, look for like the first sign of short-term, oh, I've lost 2. And then taking it from that initial gain, if you will, to a life-changing commitment.
Yes. And even there's risk factors with that too, because if you've been sedentary for most of your life and you start an exercise program, you actually never get to a termination phase. You're always at risk of relapsing. So sedentary people have to keep on constantly energizing themselves, reminding themselves that this is never going to end. They have to keep on participating in the exercise in order not to relapse.
Now, I know you work with couples quite a bit. When it comes to something like a New Year's resolution, and say the husband and wife are both smokers, one decides to do it, the other one decides not to, is that going to be a really difficult situation?
That is the most difficult situation,
Okay.
whether it's smoking, whether it's alcohol use, and if one person is doing the addictive behavior while the other person is not, the risk is that the person who's resolving not to smoke is going to be caught up into the system of smoking. So they're at much higher risk of regressing and relapsing than the person
Wow. That must open a whole other can of worms.
That's-
Really, that's
That's
a good
another full
point.
hour
That's a
show
high-
No,
right
but
there.
it's true because I can only imagine that. I mean, there's emotional instability when you go to do these things. Anyways, you know, we all, if we're on a diet, we get crabby. But imagine when your spouse or significant other is not on the same side. That must be.
It's mirror neurons. We have a mirror, we tend to be a little bit like imitating, like little monkeys. If you see somebody eating, well, you think you want to eat. Or even if you're not hungry, you eat. See somebody smoking, well, even if you don't want to smoke, you're going to be more likely to smoke.
Right.
Drinking, the same thing. So habits, if in a couple, are really hard. Both of them have to make the resolve to change.
So what's the next stage?
So the next stage would be the maintenance stage, where you are participating in the behavior, you see changes over time, the person works to prevent relapse, and they're getting solid. The last stage is the termination stage, where you have 100% self-efficacy in engaging in the behavior that's targeted.
So now we've taken it from a resolution to a life change.
Well, from an intention to, yes, a resolution with an intention, without intention, and to an intention, to action, to implementation, and then to consistency.
Is it continuous work throughout, or does it really become a habit and then you really don't have to put that much psychological effort into it?
Until it's been performed for at least a year consistently,
Oh, wow.
with the and being able to go with the ebb and flow of relapses over that year, then you're more likely to continue.
I was just going to
into the
ask that.
second year.
Is there times when okay, maybe a couple of weeks go by and you don't make it to the
Yeah.
gym, or is that normal? Do we have to go back to square one at that point?
No, I think that the worst thing is to get down on yourself and to say, well, I haven't gone for all these weeks, I may as well just throw in the towel and not go. But that's the time when you need to be saying, okay, it's just a relapse, I can start again, I did it before, and keep on encouraging yourself. And that's where it's good to have peer support too.
Right. How do you feel in general about the whole New Year's resolution idea as far as, from a psychologist's point of view?
Well, I like the idea that people want to improve themselves and want to make change for the better. I think that when the resolutions are taken, they're emotional decisions. They're not
Right.
rational, logical decisions, and you need to have both. You need to have the emotion, which gives you the motivation, and you also need to have the logic to plan your time and to put things in order and to set up all the pieces so that you're going to be successful.
So go ahead and start in June and July.
That's right.
And don't wait for January to come along. Thank you so much, Dr. Fisher. Really
You're very
appreciate you
welcome.
coming in here.